to keep some connection with these children, we decided that Sister Rosemary and myself would stay at night. Sister Noella and Sister Thomasina would come in the morning. And they would be there for today, we would be there in the night. And one day, we were trying to wipe all the stuff off their faces. The Rotary Club was getting us hot water, and they had brought lots of rags. That's all you could use, bits of rags, to try and wipe their faces.
What was on their faces?
They had all this foam from the mouth. Their eyes were matted with something that was coming from the eyes. It was white. It was a whitish looking thing that was coming from, but they were blinded with it. And then we found one day, we were wiping them and trying to clean them to the best of our ability. We still couldn't know if it was safe to let them stand up, if we could sit them down and give them a bath, a thorough bath. We couldn't do anything like that. We had to wait. So one day one little girl got up, and they were in two rows this way, you know. And she got up and she was there. We said, "You want something?" They had been urinating, excreting, everything. We were just cleaning up after them. And I said, we took her to the toilet. And we said, we'll drink something, and we gave her some milk to drink. The clubs were very good. The Rotary and all that were very good in getting supplies to the people. And what was really something that was very beautiful, this little one came back, and instead of going to where she was, she looked at these little children. She looked at all these little children, and she looked at one little boy, you know, and then she went down and sat. She sat there, and we said to her, "Do you know him? Do you know him?" "Yes, he's my brother." Now that's how we started setting up a relationship with the children. Another little girl went out to go to the toilet. She came back when they were able to do it. And by then we were able to. She came and sat beside another little girl. Now they didn't look alike, but we said, "Do you know this little girl? You know her?" And you know, it was all so strange to them. The children really were still terrified. They were awaking out of something that they didn't know where they had been. And she said, "Yes, she's in my class." Now in this way, we began to get the names of the children, and we could give it out to the announcement system outside to say that this child attending this school, this child is alive if the parents are looking for them. But you see, some parents had been put in other hospitals. Then once parents started being able to see and move about, I would imagine as quickly as possible they got up to locate their children. So we were there at night, and they would even come at 1 and 2 in the morning, having walked long distances. There were no conveyances. They would walk from one end of the city into hospitals, different places, to find their children. They'd say, "Can I see their faces?" And in the beginning we were saying, "Mother or a father who's looking for a child, how do you tell them no? I can't. I don't want to open." When we opened up the faces, the children were getting a terrible fright. So I said, "All right, we'll slowly open," and we sat talking to them. And many parents recognized their children. And in the meantime, we were getting more. More children were being brought down to us. In that way, we managed for a number of days to take care of these children. The most difficult thing was we were in this basement, so we had to go up. I would go up because Sister Rosemary could not carry anybody, and I would carry these little children upstairs, up the flight of stairs from the basement to the ground floor, from the ground floor up again, and take them on the second floor to where the oxygen was. And with the little oxygen they would receive, some children were really deadly serious. I mean, I wouldn't imagine that they survived very. We made them as comfortable as we possibly could, gave them whatever we could, and they set up a rapport with us. That was the beauty of it. They set up a rapport, so that's why we were all more determined not to leave these children. With them, some sisters said, no, I don't want to change, we won't change, we will stay with them, because they began to know us. Thomasina and Noella were brilliant during the day, taking care of them. But how we should protect ourselves, how we should safeguard ourselves. The doctors are trying to find out, tell us what it is. Now, this little child was brought in, and she was really the miracle baby of the gas tragedy. They said her mother died, all belonged to her died. Her mother was lying on top of her, so she saved her from the gas. And when they picked the body of the mother up, the little child was alive underneath. Then I had that little child with us. BBC people came. I said, I don't want my face, we're not here for publicity, just take the child if you want to. She's been married some time ago. Do you know her?
No.
She was married some time ago from this orphanage here. She's been educated and married. But we never met her again. We never ever met her again, Sanjay. But
do you remember the name of the orphanage?
I don't know the name. I don't think the child's name was known at the time. Maybe after they went to the orphanage, they were taken to a rescue sort of center by the government in one of the schools. But there was one very particular case that I used to go up, as I say, with the children and the doctors are very good. The young doctors never left the hospital. They were absolutely brilliant. They put their lives on the line. Without can't see the same doctors morning, noon and night, exhausted. One little child near the door of the oxygen room, her grandfather, her father and she. One would know the child was going to go. She could hardly breathe, this child. And I bent down while the children were getting oxygen. Some of them wanted to hold on to us. They wouldn't let us go while they received the oxygen. And I asked the father, he said, everybody died. Everybody died. And her grandfather also was very bad. Now the man was really gasping. Then one day I went up and he had cleaned her to the best of his ability. She was in a lovely white dress, and around the dress there was a white ribbon, a red ribbon. It was made like that, a little frill with a little red ribbon on it, and a red frill. And I said, I could see she wasn't better, but I said, she's better? And I used to kneel down and talk to the little one. The child couldn't respond. I said, is she better? And he said, no. But I think if I dress her up nicely, death will not know she is sick and pass her by. No. No. I do not believe. We live in an age where we're only too happy to pass the blame on to somebody else. Somebody else take the blame. All of those scientists in Union Carbide, we knew some of them. They were the cream of Bhopal society. I'm quite sure, I've never gone into it, but I'm quite sure they were handpicked from thousands. There must have been thousands of applications because the salaries were very high. They had a lovely guest house, everything. They were certainly not people who were to America, their qualifications, and from that I'm quite sure they were picked. I've never certified that. But these men knew what was happening. I put the full responsibility on them. I put the full responsibility where it has to